When I was a kid, I thought my skin tone was medium. I grew up around white people, so I saw white people as light, and then I thought that I was medium. I did think that I was tanner than I actually am because I thought, oh, I'm half black. I'm very black looking. So I thought maybe like a Doja Cat. But, I'm actually pretty ambiguous. So when I do the Fenty app, it comes up with Fenty shade 230, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm like a French vanilla. I saw skin color on a spectrum. So I literally saw people like Beyonce, Rihanna, Halle Berry, Alicia Keys as darker. To me, light skin would be people like Tinashe, Ice Spice, LMI, Nara Smith, Jasmine Saunders. So like Fenty starting at shades 200, but yeah, I know people view shades in the 300 range of Fenty as light skin as well. So I would think that like Zendaya, Doja Cat, Tyra Banks, Lori Harvey, Tia and Tamara are darker. So I would think people like that are dark skinned. But people would think that it was negative when I called people of this color spectrum dark, so I stopped doing it. To me, it's weird, like, if it's rude or somehow a bad thing to call people dark skinned, then it's rude to call people light skinned. Like, it was like people think you're saying it in a bad way or that it's a bad thing to be darker because I think they see dark skin as less than light skin. But, I don't really pay attention that much because it's like people's skin tone can change during the year, depending on if they're outside much, tanned on vacation with celebrities, lighting and pictures, videos, whatever, I just see it as a broad spectrum, not really pinpoint. Now, I do understand that black people consider light skin differently. They view light skin as exotic. They view light skin on a wider spectrum. So, like Beyonce would be considered light skinned, and Kelly Rowland would be dark skinned. I've also seen where sometimes black people will make out, people to be lighter or darker depending on whether they like them or not. Like if they can get away with it. Say there's a person and then you have other people that don't like them or don't like what they're talking about or whatever, they'll try to put them more in the dark category. Whereas if there's someone they like more or deem more attractive, they'll try to put them more in the lighter category. So to me that shows these people who do that view light skin more favorably than they view dark skinned. Now, as far as light skin being exotic to black people, I could see where light skin would be exotic to black people who are darker skinned because it's different from their norms. Like Middle Eastern people with a light skin tone seem exotic to me. Like the tone and texture is different from white people usually. Like it's more porcelain and yellow. That's kind of like the skin type that I have. There's also this idea that if a black person is lighter skinned, that they must be more mixed than average, which is a generalization and not always true. I've seen people do DNA tests. One person will be dark skinned and they'll be 20% European, and then another person will be lighter skinned and they'll only be, 10% European. But that person who has 10% European DNA will be lighter than the other person who has 20% European DNA. And yeah, you can even see this type of thing within families. With my dad, on his side of the family, with his siblings, they are darker skinned. One sibling, my aunt, she happened to come out lighter skinned. She has the same type of DNA as the rest of her siblings, but she just happened to be lighter. So yeah, light skin doesn't necessarily mean that a black person is more mixed on average. I've seen people who are 90% African, 10% European be lighter than people who are, biracial. Let's say like 40% African and 60% European. Now, as far as mixed race being exotic, I think it depends. I don't really view mixed race as exotic because I don't view white or black Americans exotic who have, the typical phenotype. Some white and black Americans are more exotic looking though, just like anyone can be. Exotic means appearing foreign, appearing different from the normal population. Something that looks foreign can be any race. I view mixed race as mixed race. White and black, black and Asian, white and Asian. Mixed race people usually look like what they are to me. Like, say someone is white and Asian, mixed. To me, they'll look white and Asian, and I'm around, I've been around white and Asian people, so they're not really exotic to me, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's relative. A white and Asian biracial person may appear exotic to different groups of people. When we're talking about America, we're talking about black Americans who have some European admixture and the white population who are usually, British Isles or Western European descendant. When we're talking about mixed race, like someone who is white and black, how would that bring on something exotic if they are mixed with black and Western European? They are just the typical people in our country who have always been in our country. I view Africans with very dark skin as exotic. I view Middle Easterners as exotic because I haven't really been around a lot of Middle Eastern people. I'm part Eastern European, which people tend to find more exotic. I don't necessarily think I look exotic. I do find myself somewhat exotic. I think I look like what I am, African American and Polish. I think I am more exotic looking than normal. As far as Eastern Europeans being exotic, I do think that they are more exotic. Some Eastern Europeans have a more Western look, while others have a more specific Eastern European look. I find Middle Easterners and many Latinas as exotic, so in that sense, when I get confused for Middle Eastern or Latina, I do think I somewhat have an exotic look. So to me, I think like Vanessa Williams, Mariah Carey, Jasmine Saunders, Alicia Keys, I think that they have a look of like what they are. To me, they look mixed with black and white. Exotic to me would be like Zendaya, Tinashe, Nara Smith, Doja Cat, the singer Ray. And I don't think that looking exotic or not looking exotic, like, I don't think, having an exotic look is better than not having an exotic look. It's an observation, when someone looks exotic to me, it means that they have a different look from the norm, that you're used to. So, it's relative and subjective. I relate more to people who are mixed and light-skinned, but really I don't care about skin color like that. I care more about if you're mixed, white and black, black and Asian, black and Indian, whatever. The celebrities I relate most to phenotypically would be Mariah Carey, Halle Berry, Vanessa Williams, Tia and Tamara Mowry, Karen Parsons, Big Lotto. I like light skin because that's what I am. Like, I think my skin tone is perfect, honestly. I wouldn't want to be lighter and I wouldn't want to be darker. I think a celebrity with a skin tone most similar to my complexion, like a skin type similar to mine, would be Mariah Carey. Like in her younger years, I think starting around like the 2000s, there was like a tanning trend going around with celebrities, and she started like using a lot of bronzer, I think. But yeah, I think I have a skin type similar to Mariah Carey. If I were to be another complexion, I think I would want to be like Vanessa Williams complexion, like a creamy or like a buttery caramel color, or I would want to be like a white or light complexion with a yellow undertone. Which is, similar to what I already have, like Raquel Welch. But yeah, I don't really get the obsession with white skin. Let white people be the ones proud of their white skin tone. Light skin is hues of porcelain, cream, French vanilla, the sun, gold, caramel, gorgeous colors, but yeah, I think everyone should think they are good for themselves. White men should think that they are good for themselves. White women should think that they are good for themselves. Mixed people, black people, Hispanic people, everyone should think that they are good for themselves. Me personally, I don't prefer white skin over other types of ethnic skin. I do prefer yellowy tones, which is what I have, which white people have a lot of the time. People's skin tone is very different depending on their skin type. Sometimes people will pick on white people because they will get sunburned. It's not that they can't tan, it's just that the environment that their people are native to, they would have started getting a lot of sun in like March through summer, so they would have gradually gotten to a more tan hue, rather than, in this day and age, spending a lot of time indoors away from the sun and then suddenly getting a lot of sun and, spending time outdoors. People pick on people of Mediterranean descent or Middle Eastern descent and say that they are blackfishing when they tan. People act like it's something wrong if you tan, or they expect people not to have a change in skin tone. Do you understand what type of skin type they have and how they are basically responding to the sun because of where their people are native to? That's how their skin had to react to the sun due to the region their people are from. Darker skinned people are naturally darker and they stay dark skinned. You know, if you expect people to accept your skin tone the way it is, it's like, you know, with these situations, it's like you can't accept some people are able to tan and, you know, then get lighter. It seems this concept is hard for some people to accept. If you look at the Fitzpatrick skin scale, people who are a skin type 3 or 4 are very likely to heavily tan and become several shades darker. But at the same time, skin types 3 and 4 are naturally lighter. I'm a skin type 3 basically, and can go from like a 230 to like, I'm pretty sure I can tan well into the 300s. Like when I was a kid, I used to spend like a lot of time in the summer outdoors. I would get pretty tan. So yeah, sometimes, you know, I'd have people get upset at me for tanning, and it's like, how can you get upset at someone for tanning? It's like I'm not supposed to get darker and I'm trying to look like something else or more black. I like my tanned skin in the summer and I like my lighter skin in the winter. To me, a tan is just something you do in the summer or when you're on vacation or something like that. You know, some people prefer it aesthetically or like a trend. I don't feel that way. To me, it's like with these situations, it's like all you think you have to offer is a skin tone, you know, then that's not much and that's not good. To me, it's not really about the people who get darker and tanned or who look darker one time and look lighter another. It's about the people criticizing them, honestly. Their skin responds differently to the light and to the sun than your skin does. You know, I just think they think when people tan, their skin tone looks better than them. It's not about skin tones, it's about how they look. So it's like, can't you be happy about being a woman without having to drag anyone else down? It's like they want people to respect their skin type but not respect other people's skin type. Like they feel that's the only thing they can claim when there's so much more. So they want to cut people down who they feel have a skin tone or phenotype similar to them but look better.